Though it still stung, I know Dad had to decide between being here physically and ensuring we wouldn't go without food. During my teens and early 20s, I was messy. I drove people away, made poor mistakes, and partied too excessively. Starting to handle all this baggage required years of therapy. Things improved when I met my 31M hubby. Though he has been quite patient and sympathetic, my prior problems surfaced even with him. I panicked out when he initially discussed starting a family. Being in charge of a child brought back all these ancient anxieties. We worked for 2 years to reach a point where I felt okay about trying for a baby. 6 months of trying have gone by now. This is now when my mother came back. She simply showed up on my dad's doorway brilliantly and early, like an abandoned child at an orphanage. Not wasting any time, my father allowed her in and summoned Ezra and me in for a family meeting. My mother struck me as a stranger. She wanted to right things and said she was clean. Though Ezra was all for it, I was dubious as heck. It was simpler for him to forgive her as he cannot recall the worst of times she spent doing drugs. I saw it. My mother was my personal hell. Still, my dad urged us to give her some time, which infuriated me. Though I stayed away for their family reunion, I could tell he was eager to see the lady he used to love. Before I left, I hardly spoke a word to my mother. Living with my dad once more, during the last few months, my mother has been working to mend connections with us. She kept her cleanliness, found employment and expressed regret for her actions, but for me it is too little too late. I have been polite, but I cannot regard her as my mother anymore. That dumb fool Ezra wholeheartedly accepted her return. He always talks about the fun they spend together and how wonderful it is to have a mother once more. It triggers my desire to yell. Like he has forgotten all I did for him, all we went through. Boom, my mother was diagnosed, so I tried to pay attention to my life and not worry. Ezra was crying. My father was crying. And I wished I could have been anywhere else but that hospital room. Indeed, Ezra was keen to be a donor when the doctor discussed the complications of dialysis and the large transplant list my mother would have to join. I agreed with his choice, but he hauled me along too when he was checked for compatibility and I turned out to be the ideal fit. Not signing the organ donation form, I hurried out of the hospital right away. Why ought I to sign it? Right now, my father and brother claim I have an unforgiving attitude and a stone heart. Instead, they are rallying around my mother and neglecting me. Although my husband swears he will support me no matter what, I can see he is anxious. He has been excellent through all this. He worries about the surgical hazards and how they might interfere with our intended baby-bearing plans. He also notes how hard I have worked in therapy and doesn't want anything to reverse all that improvement. To add to the craziness, my aunt, Mom's sister, 50F just called tonight. She told me what was a bombshell of sorts. She hasn't forgiven my mother for leaving everyone either. Turns out Mom had been cheating on Dad with a married man and had been pregnant, thus leaving us was not only due in part to drugs. She departed to have the kid and a fresh life, bailing on us once and permanently blaming drug addiction as justification. Though I really don't know how that worked out or why she came back, learning this has opened all the old scars. Mom departed when she had a decision to stay as well as when she abandoned us. I might never run upon a half-sibling out there wherever. I'm still trying to make sense of it. I haven't yet told anyone else in the family about this. Knowing this secret together with all the renal pressure is making me crazy. Thinking about my terrible upbringing and wondering whether I missed some indicators, I stay up all night. I'm wondering every sacrifice I made, every part of my youth I gave up, and how it compares to what I now know about Mom's actual leaving motivation. Ezra is clueless on any of this fresh material. He keeps urging me to donate the kidney, discussing family responsibility and how this could fix everything. But all I can think of is how he got to have a childhood while I was busy parenting him. Dad likewise doesn't know. He seems all soft about Mom once more, and it makes me want to shake him and remind him of all the misery she caused. I am rather conflicted. It almost seems too much to consider having major surgery and forfeiting an organ for someone who decided to drop me. I consider the hazards and how they might skew my odds of becoming pregnant. Already, I have given up so much for this family. My youth, my opportunity to be a normal child, my sense of security. Giving up a bit of my body seems excessive. The villain is me right now. What then, Reddit, is the outcome? Am I the hole for turning down to donate my estranged mother my kidney? Is my attachment to the past excessive? I am the only one who recalls how terrible things actually were and the only one who paid Mom the whole cost for her decisions. This is drowning me with decisions. Every decision seems bad in some capacity. How can I manage this unworkable scenario without totally losing my sanity? Help me right here on Reddit. Update 1. Hi Reddit, I expected no one would interact with this post, Hence I intended to delete it 24 hours later. The volume of upvotes and comments this is getting is ridiculous though. I would like to first thank everyone for their opinions on my circumstances. Reading through all of it has given me something to consider. Though I have to be honest, some of the comments urging me to forgive and forget really irritate me. I value those who took the time to grasp my viewpoint. I understand Ephesians 4:32, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as in Christ God forgave you. Though a great concept, you know what? Sometimes forgiveness is more complicated than a Bible chapter. Not only did my mother's actions affect one day or one week, they molded my whole life. I lost my childhood, my sense of safety, and my faith in the people meant to be watching out for me. You cannot just wipe that with a hug and some kind words. And to all those arguing, but she's your mother. Biology does not always inspire love or respect. Sure, my mother delivered me, but I am the one who had to grow up too quickly and had to be a mother to my younger brother when she cannot be bothered. When she was out high and leaving her children to fend for themselves, where was all this family is everything conversation? Look, I'm not aiming to be resentful or nasty. Despite all she has put me through, I am attempting to safeguard the life I have created. A few of you have mentioned complete family therapy. When she returned first, we tried that. It did not miraculously make everything right. Although my mother said all the right things and shed tears, it did not undo years of struggle and desertion. Many of you have brought out the dangers of kidney donation, and I value that. It goes beyond the procedure itself to include long-term consequences. Suppose I have issues that compromise my capacity for childbearing. What happens if I need kidneys later in life? For someone who didn't give second thought to sacrificing me, am I meant to give my health and maybe my future? My hubby has heard me discuss all of this. He reminded me that I had nothing to owe anyone. Not even my mother, so it's acceptable to give my own well-being top priority. The thought of compromising that for someone who has been more of a stranger than a mother is simply too much. We are still trying for a baby. My family's pressure hasn't let up. Ezra has been text-blowing my phone with messages ranging from extreme rage to guilt-tripping. He even ventured to remark that I would be no better than Mom was when she left us if I let her die. That one hurts. I cannot lie. Dad has been more subdued, but every time we speak he sounds disappointed. They seem to have all forgotten what I went through, what we went through. And then there is my mother. At last she plucked the bravery to give me a straight call. I let it drop off to voicemail. Her message was difficult to hear. She was crying and telling me she is afraid of dying even though she knows she does not deserve my support. Though a large part of me remembered all the times I was terrified and alone due to her choices, part of me wanted to reassure her. Regarding what my aunt revealed regarding Mom's affair and the baby she turned over, I still haven't told anyone. Every time I consider bringing it up, I picture Dad's expression. How it would destroy Ezra's recently discovered relationship with Mom. But hiding this is eating me inside. Carrying the weight of her mistakes, it feels like I am shielding her all over once more. This update most likely makes me sound frigid and merciless. Maybe I am. I am exhausted yet as well. Weary of having to be the one who must be strong and sacrifice-bearing. I want to put myself first for once without feeling bad about it. That's where I am right now. Still conflicted, still aching, still unsure about the correct course of action. Though it means playing the villain in everyone else's life, I am striving to stand my ground and give my own health and happiness top priority. I appreciate it. Still, thank you for listening, Reddit. Though I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, knowing there are individuals out there that understand even just a small bit helps more than you could possibly imagine. Update 2. Sure Reddit. Though I realize it has only been 2 days, I am here with another update and things have become even more disorganized. Recall how Ezra stated had been blowing my phone? He realized though, messaging was insufficient. Yesterday he showed up to my residence without warning. While I was at work, my spouse was home finishing some job-related duties. My husband claims Ezra broke into our house yelling about Mom's worsening illness and how the doctors said time was running short. Saying he would pull me to the hospital personally should he have to, he insisted on knowing where I was. Bless him, my husband attempted to cool Ezra down. Ezra wasn't having it, but I was at work and this wasn't the way to handle things. He charged my spouse of poisoning me against Mom, of turning me against my family. Things grew hot, and Ezra actually swung at my husband. Fortunately, my husband avoided it, but he had to physically restrain Ezra to prevent him from ruckling the apartment in search of me. It grew so nasty that one of our neighbors phoned the police. I arrived home exactly as the cops were leaving. Our living room looked like a tornado had hit. My husband had a bruise on his jaw where Ezra had landed a blow. Though